starts at a conference, in an academic conference in the United States of America. These 10 men, I'm a mathematician, I should be able to count. These 10 men, they are discussing the future of artificial intelligence. Now, these guys include some of the leading intellectuals in the area. It's chaired by Max Tegmark, who's a theoretical physicist and author of Life 3.0. On the left over there, we've got Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and successful entrepreneur. We've got people from Google. We've got Nick Bostrom, who wrote the book Superintelligence. And all of these people, they're asked the question, do you think that in the foreseeable future, we will have a computer that can think just like we can? And to that, all of them answer yes. They believe that artificial intelligence, a computer who can think as well or possibly even better than us, is on its way. And it's not just intellectuals who are talking about this idea. If you go to any of the big social media giants or internet giants, all of them have some form of artificial intelligence research now. Facebook are looking at how to understand your personality and how they can have a bot that can interact with you and become your friend. Google and their DeepMind project, they've produced a system that can play Go and beat the world's best player. Uber are developing self-driving cars. There's Microsoft, there's IBM. Every company, and they normally seem to have a blue logo for some reason, but every company has their own artificial intelligence department. So I'm an applied mathematician, I'm a mathematical biologist, and I was very interested in this artificial intelligence question, and I wanted to take it from a slightly different perspective. I wanted to think, where are we now? What's the best intelligence we can produce today? And so, if I'm going to answer this question, I have to start at the top. So these 10 people, they represent the greatest intelligence we can possibly have on the planet. There might be some argument about that, but they might believe that they represent the highest intelligence. And I don't think that we can replace them with robots just yet. We can't do a computer simulation of their minds. I don't think we can do a computer simulation of my mind. I don't think we could send out a robot instead of me to talk to you today. And I don't think that we can do a computer simulation of any of your minds. There might be a few people out there who think, well, maybe I'd like to replace my husband with a robot. But we're not quite there yet. So let's forget humans. We can't yet simulate the intelligence of humans. Now, I've been told if you do a talk like this, you always have to have a picture of some dogs. Very important with some dogs. So, but there's a reason I've got the dogs in here. And anyone who owns a dog, and I'm sure there's lots of you here that own a dog, you recognize your dog as a member of your family. The dog is almost, well, it's almost as important to you often as your husband. So, dogs are very important, and there's a reason for that. It's because dogs have a high degree of social intelligence. They have an intuitive understanding of what's important to you, what's going to happen in the family, who's going to do important things. They have a social intelligence. And when you build robot dogs, they're nowhere close to producing that same sort of intelligence. So we're nowhere near, well, we're currently not able to produce the intelligence of a dog. Let's go down a step more. Let's take a bumblebee. Now, researchers in London have recently trained bumblebees to play football. And what they can do is that they give them a reward if they score a goal, if they roll the ball into the goal. They can show one bumblebee playing football, and then the other bumblebee will copy that bumblebee and learn to play football herself. So bumblebees can learn by watching. And that's something which robots or artificial intelligence currently can't do. So we haven't got the capability of modeling the intelligence of an insect. Let's go down one more step. This thing here is a slime mold. This is an amoeba. It's about this big. That's the scale of this picture. And amoebas are pretty smart. They can choose between different food sources. They can anticipate periodic events. And they can actually solve mazes. So slime molds, and I work with modeling slime molds, we don't currently have a computer simulation of a slime mold which mimics its intelligence. So we're not even there with slime molds. So where are we? Well, we're here. This is a bacteria, and we currently can simulate something about the level of intelligence of a bacteria. Now, I think bacteria, they sometimes have a bad reputation. People think bacteria aren't that smart. But bacteria are slightly intelligent. They live in your gut and they make decisions about where to move inside your gut. If you drink some milk, they decide that they like to drink milk, but if you start to eat chocolate, they decide, I'm actually going to go after the chocolate instead. So they can make some level of intelligent decisions. So we shouldn't underestimate bacteria. And this brings me to my important question. Whose job could we replace with a bacterial brain? The sort of brain that has very simple rules to understand the world around it. Whose job could we replace? Well, I've thought about this for a while, and my answer is the following. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is Jose Mourinho. Now, I have to confess, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I couldn't help sticking it to Mourinho. And it's not going very well for Manchester United just now. But my claim is a lot of what football managers do in controlling the team, a lot of that can be replaced with bacterial type of reasoning. Okay, so hear me out. So let's go to the slime mold again. This is a slime mold solving a problem, and as I've told you, we have difficulty understanding slime molds, but we have some understanding of how they connect up different food sources. What slime molds do is they build an optimal network connecting up all of the food around them. This is a problem where they've solved this network and they've connected up the food in a very efficient manner. And that's actually very similar to a problem we see in football. This is very different from a slime mold, of course. This is the Barcelona team of 2010-11. But Barcelona, what they do is that they form a network of passes across the pitch, which is very similar to the types of networks built by slime molds. So we can already see a direct parallel between these simple organisms and the simple rules used by football players. And that is the underlying idea for many of the algorithms that we use to understand football. This is one of the very important models that we have of football. If you watch a lot of football, and you go, I always get very frustrated at this, but if you go and watch a football match, you'll often see the striker is running up and he's somewhere just outside the box. And all of the crowd are shouting at him, shoot, shoot, shoot. And then he tries to dribble another player and he loses the ball and the crowd all get disappointed and they're all sighing. But if the striker had bacterial intelligence, what he would do is always, in fact he does have bacterial intelligence, he should always go forward and try and get nearer to the goal to score. The nearer you are to the goal, the more of the goal you can see, the better chance you have of scoring. And if you take a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, he really does have bacterial intelligence. And I mean that in a positive way. He's known for scoring spectacular goals from outside of the penalty area, but what he's really good at, and what this figure shows, is that he gets very close to the goal and has a very good shooting angle when he takes his chances. So it's not that he's very good at finishing, it's that he's always in the right position at the right time in order to finish that. And that's what makes him one of the greatest strikers in the world. And this idea that we can assess all football players using simple rules and simple algorithms can be extended through the whole pitch. So I thought I'd take this. I live in Sweden, so I don't know if anyone remembers a very important result in the World Cup between Sweden and Mexico. But I thought, I wasn't going to mention that, but anyway. I thought what I'd show you here is how we can assess different players. And I took, of course, one of your successful players, Carlos Vela, and what we've done here is we've looked at all of the passes that he's made and all of the dribbles he's made, and we've assigned points to those things. So the more important the pass, the more points we give to it. And we do this pretty much in the same way as a bacteria assesses its environment, through experience, through allowing a computer to look through lots and lots of matches. It builds up an understanding of what's a good pass and what's a bad pass, allowing us to assess, give points to each pass. We can do the same things with defensive actions. These are, Carlos Salcedo was actually your best player in the World Cup. And what I've plotted here is all of his defensive actions. He stopped so many chances by the opposition, and we can give points to everything that he's done, even for the mistakes that he's made. And that way we can assess his ability as a football player. What we've actually been working on, and I think this is one of the key ideas when it comes to this bacterial intelligence. It's very easy for us humans to be fooled by bacterial intelligence and think it's clever. So we've been working on a bot, and this bot takes in all the data of football matches and then says things which are intelligent to humans about these football matches, but are actually based on a very, very simple algorithmic understanding. So this is what the 12 bot, it watched Chelsea versus Bournemouth, and the 12 bot said that Eden Hazard provided 5 chances for teammates and made plenty of penetrating passes in the match against Bournemouth. And that makes sense to us, but it's all based on an algorithmic understanding that this bot has of football. It doesn't really understand football, it just takes in the data and comes out with these statements. And this type of reasoning is now used within football clubs. So I visited Barcelona recently, and they're using this type of data in order to understand how they can play better. They have a measure called pitch control, which allows them to assess how well they're controlling the opposition. So more and more, this kind of data-driven approach is being used in the world of football. So to sum up, I think I have answers for both of these people. I think if we take the 10 intellectuals who are talking about the future of artificial intelligence, I think we're still a long way from that moment where computers are going to become as intelligent as us. Just now, we're somewhere near to the level of a bacteria. But yours still needs to think about this, because gone are the days when you can just be confident as a manager, that you can just encourage the players and build up some kind of team feeling. You also need to be on top of the statistics and an understanding of how the team works. And it's exactly that which a bacteria brain is very useful for. So Jose might not be going to lose his job tomorrow, well actually he might be going to lose his job tomorrow, but he's not going to be replaced by a bacteria tomorrow. But it is something that we all need to think about for the future. Thank you.